If you want to grab your drawing gear and draw along with me today, by all means, grab it and sit down with me. But today is actually a pretty sort of decent sized illustration. I end up just doing a full piece, and I have been wanting to do this one for a while, like I say with a lot of my drawings, because I have a sketchbook full of drawings that I sit down and draw, and then I have plans to turn them into an illustration later on, and that's exactly what I've done with this one. Now this one is called The Horror House in the Clouds. And as the illustration gets on, you will definitely see why it is called The Horror House in the Clouds. Now, I wanted to use my Strathmore hot press paper for this. As you guys know, who are a regular to my channel, you'll know that the Strathmore hot press paper is my absolute favorite paper to work on. It is just the best. And my second favorite is the Roy Mac Rains paper. Now I chose to border off the piece today because I don't do that very often, and I really want to sort of make a little bit more in-depth sort of pieces where it's a little bit more involved, and it takes up the whole paper. And that's what I tried to do with this one today. Now I bordered off it with the tape the way I did, and I think I said this in the last video, I don't like to stick it to the table because I can't spin it. So I've worked out a way where you can put the tape around the edges, just fold it up behind the bit of paper, or just fold the tape onto itself so it's not stuck to the paper, so it's a little bit of a bastard to get off. Which I found, I did some trials and I found it that was a real pain in the butt. So I've worked out a way that I can just fold the tape back onto itself and it doesn't wrap around the other side of the paper, and it's so much easier to get off. So that's how I do it. I want to be able to flip the canvas. I have to be able to do that, or it's no good. So I've made it work that way. So I am using my new palette, the Dani, I don't know how to say it. If someone knows how to say it, please contact me and let me know, because I have no idea, unless it's just a bunch of letters thrown together. It's probably what it is, because to me it doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, these paints are what I bought recently. As I have said in the last video, I really enjoy these paints. Like they are the best paints that I own. And before I get into that, I just wanted to mention about the bits of paper I'm using for the cloud. That's actually the Iron Lac sticker that I got with the Iron Lac sketchbook. When I peeled those two bits of the backing off, it looked like a cloud. They both look like clouds. So what I did was I kept them because I had a use for them. I could put them into a illustration just like this and go around them and create clouds. So that's what I did. So that's recycling at its best right there. Anyway, where was I going? That's right, the paints. And like I said in the last one, I didn't sort of go too much into it with a lot of things, but the paintbrush, I really like this paintbrush. This is probably my favorite. And I've always really favored the size 6 in a watercolor brush, but I don't know, I think a size 8's probably a better size, to be completely honest with you, because it's not too small and it's not too big, and I can do even the smaller details with this one to a certain degree. But then I had to bust out my detailer, which you see on the screen on the right there. that when I have to do really fine details. But this paintbrush is just, I don't know, this kit is just, this watercolor kit was just the best buy I have ever purchased in a watercolor. Like, just I don't even have to spritz these this watercolor palettes. All I do is I just go in with a wet brush and it just immediately turns to butter. Like, I have not had that. Like, my Meedens, if I did that with my Meedens, no way. It would take me days to try and lift some of that paint out of those little pellets, or I have to spritz them. So yeah, no, I don't know. They're just really good. They are the best watercolor I have purchased. So I can't speak any more highly of them. They've definitely outshone the Faber-Castells, and they're a pretty good one too. So they're a good paint, even though I'm pretty confident they're not a legit palette. But whatever they've done, whatever watercolors they've used, they've put in that palette, it's good, but it's not as good as this one. So this piece and this illustration today is the horror house in the clouds. So I had this idea of creating this house that is quite old and it's quite dilapidated. Is that a word? I'll have to look that up. Anyway, it's really cruddy house. It's old, it's falling apart. It's a unique sort of color, like it's blue and it's got a black roof, and it's just floating through the sky. Like, in this world where this house is, this is what happens. You get houses in the sky that you just wouldn't go near, but because you wouldn't go near this one anyway, because I made the floating island look like a skull, and I made the other ones around it look like a skull. There's one off in the distance, as you can see down the bottom left. It was too tiny. I didn't do too much with it, but I just had to put something there because it looked a little bit funny with everything sort of up in that sort of right corner, and then there was nothing down in that bottom one. So I put that little one in, but I didn't do too much with it. But it's, it just sort of balances the piece out. So this house, horrible things happen. I've sort of taken inspiration from a movie called You Should Have Left. I think that's what it's called. It's called a movie called You Should Have Left, and it's about this house that comes onto the internet, and this family see it because they're meant to see it, and it sucks them to it. And what it does is it traps them in this house, and it basically traps the people who have done bad things in their life. So they go to the house, and the husband in the end has to stay behind, and he pays for his sins, which is he killed his wife. So this is where I sort of took this inspiration from. This house is taking bad people into it and basically serving up justice. So that's the story of this illustration. My favorite part about this illustration is definitely the main island, bottom part where the skull is. I think that just looks really creepy, and I really do really like that aspect to it. But I did thoroughly enjoy this piece. There was a stage where I wasn't happy with it, and I didn't think I was going to make this work, because like all the stages I get to, it's the ugly stage, and I was worried. But I kept going, and I fully committed, and I really do like this piece in the end, and it's really good. I do like this, so I'm quite happy with myself with it. I think I went a little bit too heavy-handed with the white gel pen, but I sort of really wanted to give that shine because it's up in the sky and it's really close to the sun, and there's no shade, and it's just I wanted some real sparkles, like some real light reflecting off of it. But I don't know, I sort of feel as though I probably went a little bit too excited with the white gel pen. But all in all, I am really happy I did this piece. It's something a little bit different. I haven't done like a house like this for a very long time, except for that one I did with that like tree house of horrors. I can't remember what I called it now. but I wanted to do another house because they are quite challenging, and I do find I do step out of my comfort zone when I do draw houses, so that's why I did it. With the blood coming out of the windows and from underneath the door and the chimney, you can only imagine what this house has done to the people that it's attracted and has dealt out its justice. So let your imagination run wild there. And I, for some reason, couldn't help myself to put a swing on the left little tiny island on that tree. I was initially gonna put blood on that swing, but I sort of didn't do that. I didn't really want that sort of, you know, that way of going that someone's been, like a kid had been slaughtered on the swing. Like, that's sort of what I didn't want to portray, and that's not what I was thinking anyway, but I'm worried that someone out there would have sort of went, okay, that's not real good. But anyway, that's my final illustration there. I really enjoyed this. This one only took me 4 or 5 hours, which I'm surprised at. Usually these take me days to do, but I was able to sit down and really sort of get into this one. It was really, really cool. So anyway, I am out of here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.